Alrighty. Well, here's a crap one that really runs properly. GMC I got really cheap. Only to find out the reason they're half the price of everybody else is because they're actually factory returns. This is a bankrupt company, and this is all the returns, and you go and get these ones that have got, I don't know, rusty chains, every single box is pre-opened, and that's why it only costs $40. It's all the blood from the last person I cut in half with it. No, that was a little accident with a chemical sprayer. But yeah, went and blasted everywhere because it was nozzle was still turned on. But, this one, yeah, it's not too bad a bar. I think it's about 16 inches something. But yeah, that one's basically a piece of shit. But I'll try and use it. Sometimes it runs, sometimes it doesn't. There's that old Porky there, he's changed all blood. But this is the good one. You recognise that brand? Nah, shit. This wasn't right. It's got tool-free adjustment. This one, it's a little bit different. See if I can show you. It springs up and down, so you can swivel it wherever you want, and you keep pushing it down, and then tighten a bit. And at the end of the day, there's your one that. This is a lot better than the Stihl. Instead of having some tiny little tiddler bloody thing here, you can't adjust because you've got too fewer actual knobs to grab the bugger properly, and it tends to jam up all the time, get clogged up inside. This one's got a great big one, and it's a lot finer adjustment and whatnot, and you can actually get your damn fingers on it because the knob's a decent size, and then when you're done, you go dook, and that covers over it. It keeps it nice and clean, but I don't quite seat it properly, so I'm going to have to redo that, but she's got a decent bloody chain on it. That's where the chain on this looks a lot nastier than the one on the Stihl. Anyway, I'll redo that. So I'm supposed to sort of put the back end first, and I forgot all about that because it's been a while since I've used this one, and wipe a bit of the blooming dust off, and we'll get running. Tunnel. It's a reasonably wide rock wall here. This big bugger, he's sort of going to put the fence offline just a touch, and I said, stuff it. So be it. I'm not cutting down a flipping tree this big, but still reasonably well alive. And if I did, with a lean on the damn thing, it's going to end up over my driveway anyway. And I'm not spending a bloody week cutting this thing off my driveway when I'm just trying to do some fencing. Oh yeah, I better give you a good view of the real place. See all the plastic bags and another blooming oil container there, and all the bullshit laying everywhere. That was what this whole place was like, just plastic bags everywhere. And there may be a point in time where you dry your clothes, you actually want to get them off the stick you stuck them on. Look at them, just absolutely shreds. Might have been a shirt there too, I think. There's the thing for the buttonholes of the shirt. Yeah. Anyway. Still a little bit of gangly wire. I'm going to try and get this out. I've got the other end of it there. That goes through the grass a bit, but that's no big deal. There isn't actually that much wire in here. This is almost bloody none, to be honest. It's like all the, even your, like 5 lines of wire that go through your posts. There's been posts in here, but honestly, they're nestled amongst the rocks, and you just go, bang, chonk, straight out like that. And they come out unbelievably easily. There's also the small cypress pines here. But yeah, the wire that you would expect to go through the middle of these wooden posts, there's one up there, I think you can still see it, is basically not even here, which is bizarre. All we've had is like one roll of barbed wire and that's it, which is sort of odd. What's even odder is this thing here. This was here when my dad was a kid, and this rather shonky grandfather's cousin was living here, and he said we used to come over here to visit him or see about whatever, something with sheep, whatever the heck, and yeah, this was here then, and it's all been overgrown, but it's a, I mean, this was old as the hills when my dad was a kid, you know, and you notice a lot of the heavy wooden framing here. I mean, that's pretty thick blooming wooden framing. That is hung onto the comb at the front, and you get your cross beams there. Even a lot of what's, you know, all the framing internally and all that, there's a lot of timber in the framing. You might be able to see even, no, you can't really see, but yeah, there's a lot of timber actually used in the framing of this device, and this is real old, real old. So, oh, you can see the flipping wood hooked onto the steel there. This was back in the days when they, oh yeah, there's a spinner down, oh yeah, said there's a fan in some part of this. Oh, there's a lot of different things. It might be the thresher or something I'm looking at here. But he said the design of this is a lot different from his father's one because it was a lot older. And there's a little auger, pencil auger. He wants to try and work out exactly how it all works, and he doesn't want me to send him this scrap metal, at least not yet. But I mean, when they built things back in the day, I mean, look at this thing. This is laying here like a piece of crap when my dad was 10 years old. Literally, a couple of days ago, he's on the old age pension. Like, he's turned 65 very recently. And, you know, 55 years ago when he was a 10-year-old kid, this was here, and it's still here. You know, look at it. The galvanising is just flaming damn near perfect. You know, yeah, it's rotten out on the sides. And the screws, you can whack a screwdriver in and take the things out today. This is when things were built, you know, and people actually didn't cheap out on shit they'd build for you, you know. And, yeah. A lot of those bits up there, they're all cast iron parts. You know, you got steel framing mixed with wood framing mixed with cast iron cogs, and you know, cast iron parts. I think this has got something to do with the height adjustment. Oh, here's a few more bits of steel framing. Oh, now this isn't self-propelled, as you could well imagine. A lot of the ones you see, well, all the ones you see today are self-propelled. There's another intake or auger or something that's a cast iron part on that. And you see that bit going up there? That's a big bunch of, like, cog teeth. That was your height adjustment for your comb. And that, God, blooming shadows. This thing never works well with shadows. Little wheel there, but right up in there, there's actually a tow hitch. And you would tow it behind a tractor. Or quite possibly even horses. There's a bloke who he's one of the people behind a agriculture supplies joint, and they are pretty smart cookies when it comes to everything, and he actually has a horse-drawn one that is still functional. So this may have been a similar age to his, but his one actually works, and I would love to video it one day, and it has appeared in newspapers, and yet he sort of, well, I've been into his shop, so yeah, not too far from me at all. But anyway, I should come out here with a good camera and point it at this thing after my father works out what bit does what. Yeah. On with the show here. Yeah, I got all these chopped up. Good old sawdust everywhere as usual. How's this for a beauty? Good old electric chainsaw save the day. How's this for a friggin' log? That's a big bugger I was showing the other day, mate. Look at the thing, it's absolutely huge. Big fork. There's a big hunk there, another hunk there. All this here, I can't really burn it here because of all the box thorns and all the other trees and stuff, likely to cause a bloody bushfire. So I've got to get this all out by hand at some point. And I might just throw it over the fence because I'm not too far from the almonds here. But yeah, all this stuff here, I'll try and chuck into the back of the car and move around to my little wood cutting area where I had that blue tarp with all the wood under it, which is generally where I cut all my wood up. But yeah, we actually pulled one out there, the wire strainer on, tensioned away, and then started shaking like hell, and it come out. And I think it's that one. Yeah, it's that one laying down there, as you can see. Oh yeah. Yeah. And here we come up to my trees. There was another whole gangle of something. There's been something under here, and there's still wire and crap from another chook shed or something that had the box thorn. Obviously, as a small plant once upon a time, and it's grown over it. But all blasted wood is supposed to move, scrap metal and stuff. Yeah, here we are at the trees. This is all where the trees run down here. You can see all the little shake covers. There's the almonds. A couple of logs still under there, which you probably can't see. But yeah, we've got to basically run a fence from, there's my driveway there. That there is the one that goes and shuts off the front of the property. Now I've got to build another one in about where this steel post is here, and then run that right down there, and I've got to go chop those little box thorns out there and a bit of the side of that cypress tree, and put another strainer up there. And then that juts back to, hang on a second, there's a post in amongst here. Still got to pull this side out, logs too. That one there, you can see there's a fence here. And there's a lot of wind and a very noisy aircraft going overhead. So yeah, you probably can't even hear me for all the bloody wind again. That post there will meet another post somewhere up against the big steel diesel tank here, or what was a diesel tank, and there's now a tank stand for an IBC. And probably make the corner of this or whatever, and then back up through there, and all I got to do is just trim a bit of these trees, and we've got a reasonably straight line that goes straight back. And if we don't, I'm going to have to put some pretty hairy guards around one or two of these trees, and yeah. Yeah, well, being Japanese built, they're not stupid, and I reckon this car would be built to handle a bit of a snow load, and seeing most of that is just softwood anyway, I tend to stack a bit on the roof to make the most of my movements with this old banger. Let's face it, this car isn't worth anything much more than scrap metal, but it is handy to have it, but you couldn't sell it unless you took it in for scrap metal. Oh, we haven't got much wind. I might as well show this one. This is the one that has sort of bent down and collapsed a bit. And as you see, the whole lot's all splintered in there and a big crack through the middle. But that was one of the really big ones on my bonnet as I moved the wood there. But yeah, funny how these things are sort of heal themselves and then keep going. And there's a few around like that, but this is probably the biggest one I've seen yet that's splintered and then come back again and kept going. But obviously it's dead now sort of thing. But a lot of these trees, they have branches that are dead and branches that are alive. And I'm pretty sure this one kept growing after it splintered, as a lot of them actually do. And the same thing can happen with grapevines. But of course, you know, all these things, these splinterings are caused by the wind, obviously.